White. It cost a lot of money in the Almanac. Okay, here we go. My name is Jim Bowles. I'm a member of the steering committee for the Fallbrook Tea Party, and I volunteered to do some research on Proposition 14. I'm going to cover 413 as well because it's a no-brainer. There was no opposition on Proposition 13 in the Assembly or the Senate. It's basically a cleanup of the present law that would increase the assessment on property owners when they retrofit their home or their buildings with seismic upgrades. So I don't think it's fair to increase your property against earthquakes by getting dinged by more taxes. So this takes care of that and makes the seismic upgrade irrelevant for tax purposes. It would not trigger reassessment of your property. On Proposition 14, if you read over the short paragraph on Proposition 14 in the little voter's guide, it seems pretty straightforward, but as many of the other propositions, it is not straightforward. It says that Proposition 14, elections increases the right to participate in primary elections. Well, I have found that that is not necessarily true. Proposition 14 would drastically change the current way that we participate in primaries. Right now, all the political parties that exist in this state can put up candidates for the primary election, and we vote them, and then one candidate from each political party goes on to the general election. Under this proposition, only two would go to the top and participate in the general election. That would mean we might have two Republicans, we might have two Democrats, we might have a mixture of, let's say, one Libertarian, one Independent. So basically, to me, it limits the participation in elections. It has come to the voters a couple of times before, and one of those times the voters voted for it, but it was struck down as unconstitutional by the courts. The second time, the voters just simply turned it down, and I would recommend too that we turn it down. There are some hidden provisions in this that I really couldn't find in the text of the proposition as it is written in our large primary voters guide. But as it turns out, that it eliminates the write-in capability that we would have right now in general elections. I see that as a drawback. Let's see. The opposition to this I did read over, and they seem to have better points than the proponents of Proposition 14. For one thing, you get Howard Jarvis, Taxpayers Association, recommending a no vote. One of the candidates, a Libertarian candidate by the way, pointed out that there's also a provision that would indicate that if you don't have more than 100,000 people representing your particular party, that you would not be able to participate in the primary election at all, which will eliminate the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and I think he said that the Independent Party just barely got above that line. So it actually reduces participation to only 2, and those are the highest vote getters. If, for instance, something happens between the primary and the general election that would rule out one of those 2 that had enough votes to go into the general election, we would be pretty much up a creek, wouldn't we, if we don't have the capability to write in new candidates. So I would recommend a no vote for Proposition 14.
Perfect. You don't like it better.
I know, I've said plenty of others there too.